everyone, and welcome back. As always, I'm your girl, Candy Washington. So, before we dive into today's episode, which is really talking all things Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, I'm going to give my hot takes on what I think is going on with the girls. I'm going to talk about Boz, the new girl. I have a hot take on her, the whole situation with Kyle, Dorit, Erica's therapy session, Garcelle, Sutton beefing with Dorit. We're going to get into all of it, and I'm going to give some really good hot takes. Hopefully not too unpopular opinions, but we'll find out. But before we do that, go ahead and like, subscribe, and share. It's a fun and easy way to support the channel, and I would really appreciate it. So with that, let's go. So if you're watching live, be sure to say hi in the chat box. Let's have a really lively discussion, what your thoughts are. And if you're watching on the replay, be sure to comment down below. So with that, let's dive right on in. All right, so I'm going to do things a little bit different tonight. I'm going to talk about separate issues that the women are having, and then I'll give more of an overview of what I think is going on with everyone. So the first topic I wanted to talk about, I am calling the dark truth about the reason why I think Garcelle is getting so much backlash on social media, and everyone's sort of like praising Boz as she is evidently becoming Dorit's mouthpiece. Okay, that's why I'm calling it the dark truth. So I think that one of the biggest reasons why Garcelle is getting so much backlash this season, people are like, oh, Garcelle needs to go. She's being a bully. She can't play the race card. She needs to go to Atlanta or Potomac. Why is she on Beverly Hills still? This is not her season. She doesn't have a storyline. And if you guys hear background music, I apologize. That is the laundry and it's super loud, but hopefully it'll die down soon. So I apologize for any back noise. Okay, there's that. But the reason why I think that people are saying that is, unfortunately, I think that when there are two Black girls on a predominantly white show, it's not necessarily that the two Black girls themselves go against each other, but the collective, obviously not us, but the collective kind of thinks, well, we already have one Black girl, we can't have two. So it's almost like we don't need Garcelle anymore to check that box. Now we have Boz. And when you put Garcelle and Boz together, I think that like up against each other, which I think is disgusting. We shouldn't do it, but I think it's important to talk about because I think that's at the crux of what is going on. And I do have a video clip from another TikToker who shares the same opinion, and she also breaks it down. And I agree with her, and I'll share that clip in a second. But I think that Boz is more palpable to the collective conscious than Garcelle is, because Boz just goes along to get along. She doesn't really have a point of view. She's really not that vocal. She says she's very direct, but I have yet to see her be that way. The only time I've heard her talk has been in confessionals or to defend Dorit. So I'm not really sure what she means when she's talking about that, okay? So I'm going to show the clip real quick so you guys can get an understanding of what I'm saying, and I want to know what you guys think about this too.
Okay, so guys, we know that we can have like two Black women on Beverly Hills at the same time, right? Like it doesn't just have to be one or the other, right? We know this because the amount of discourse I have seen on this app about why is Garcelle still on the show? Do we even need Garcelle anymore? Is weird. Meanwhile, she has been a fan favorite since she's been on this show. Like, it's not lost on me that as soon as Boz got on the show, now all of a sudden people are on this app are saying that we don't need Garcelle. We can have two Black women on a highly popular reality show and be okay. It doesn't have to be one or the other. If we have Boz, we can also have Garcelle. So let's cut this out right now. Thank you.
So yeah, she pretty much sums up what I was saying, and I agree with that. So I want to know what you guys think about that. But that was kind of my thoughts on what I think the crux of the backlash is with Garcelle this season. It's not coming from me or the majority of the candy canes, but I think that was just something interesting to talk about. Okay, now let's talk about the next subject. All right, again, Boz. I had high hopes for her. I really wanted to like her, but for me, she's falling flat as a housewife. I think that she's kind of being pushed onto us. Like we're being fed like, oh, Boz is amazing. Boz is great. Like Erica and Dorit, oh my God, we love Boz. But to me, Boz doesn't seem like she actually wants to be there. And again, if there's background noise, I truly apologize. It's the washer and I can't turn it off, so I apologize. Anyway, so to me, she's kind of being force-fed onto us and pushed. And the problem with her is that you can tell that she's being coached by Erica and by Dorit. And it's giving Real Housewives of New York City when we see Brynn so clearly trying to coax Rebecca, like, oh, you need to say this, you need to say that, and how the reason why New York City isn't working and is falling flat is because the women are so clearly self-producing themselves and each other. And we're starting to see that on Beverly Hills too with Boz. Like they're coaching her. Like, yeah, you should go say this. You should go do this. Well, you have to speak up. And it's like, that's not what I want to watch. I don't want to watch these women on camera coach each other to be on a reality show. I just want to watch these women form friendships or form, sisterhoods or not form sisterhoods and have authentic fights and disagreements and work through it or not work through it. But I want it to be authentic and organic. I don't want it to be coaxed. And we've now seen multiple scenes where Erica and Dorit are like coaching Boz. Like, that's something you should say. That would be great. Oh, she's great. And it's just like, what? It's almost like I'm being hypnotized or I'm being like, I don't know what the word is. Yeah, they're trying to like hypnotize me into liking Boz. And I'm sorry, but I don't think she's a good fit. I don't think she wants to be there. And I also don't know why she doesn't have more of an opinion about what's going on in her own life. You know what I mean? And now my biggest issue with Boz on this particular episode, and again, I know my candy canes are smart enough to catch this, but I'm super confused as to why a lot of people on social media are like, oh my God, Dorit's amazing. She's shining. She's used the C word against Camille. That is so cool. She cleared Sutton. No, Sutton cleared Dorit. When she said to her, you're not angry at me, you're angry at your life, I was like, Queen Sutton, she cleared her. Just because Dorit then had a breakdown. My life sucks right now. What else? Blah, 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 blah. Like, Dorit, pipe down. Like, you're now getting a personality 7 seasons in because you need this paycheck. You're now getting a personality 7 seasons in because you no longer have Kyle's cover. You're now getting a personality 7 seasons in because your house is in pre-foreclosure. PK is broke and so are you, allegedly. Now you want to get a personality? Girl, pipe down. Pipe all the way down. And what kills me was when Boz was like, oh, well, you can't weaponize her, what she's going through, Sutton, to Dorit. And I'm like, Boz, you are this multi-millionaire CMO boss babe, and you don't know how to correctly use the word weaponize because you actually used it incorrectly. And if you watch the, not to be like, a word snob, but I am one, Boz. Only because in the after show, she was so snotty. She was like, well, if she knew if she had a bigger vocabulary, this is what Boz was saying about Sutton. Well, if she had a bigger vocabulary, then she would be fine with me using the word weaponize. Well, you actually used it incorrectly, sweetheart. Okay. And I'm gonna break down why and how you use it incorrectly. So weaponize. We're gonna go with definition number 2. To exploit for the purpose of attacking a person or a group or for spreading discord. They find it easy in order to weaponize the fear and uncertainty of national events. That's the way she thought she was using it against Sutton. That's incorrect. What Sutton did to Dorit was she was holding her accountable for the way that she was treating people. Versus what Dorit was doing, Dorit was actually weaponizing. So Dorit was actually the person weaponizing something. She was exploiting, aka weaponizing, where she was in her life, her trauma, her alleged separation, her financial situation, in order to justify attacking other people, Sutton. So you actually use the word incorrectly, Bose. Dorit was the one who was weaponizing her situation in order to justify attacking other people, yelling and screaming and cussing out Kyle every other scene, calling Camille the C word, going off on Sutton, and when you don't even know what you're talking about. In the Sprinter van, nobody was talking to you or about you, Dorit. Sutton was talking to Erica about what Erica said to Kyle. It had nothing to do with Teddy and nothing to do with you, quite frankly. She was talking about in general, when we are in a group, it is okay to speak up so everyone can hear. You don't have to whisper. We should all feel safe to talk in the group. It actually had nothing to do with you, Dorit, and it had nothing to do with Teddy. That is what Sutton was trying to explain to you and everybody else in this burner van, but you didn't get it because you don't close your mouth long enough to do it. It's absolutely insane. And so Bose, she's lost me. I was like, I'll give her a couple more episodes, but girl, you're corny. Also because throughout the episodes, Boz doesn't talk. Like, she doesn't talk in the group setting. She doesn't engage really. She's just up Dorit's butt. Oh, girl, you look great. And then the one time she actually asserts herself, she uses the word weaponize incorrectly to defend Dorit to Sutton, who, by the way, Sutton was the way, whether it's authentic or not, it's how it was being presented to, us, that Sutton was the one who brought Bose into the group. So the one time you want to assert yourself and be this boss babe that you claim to be, it's not even in defense of yourself. It's in defense of Dorit, who you've known for 2 seconds, to go against Sutton, who was your gateway into the group, and then incorrectly use the word weaponize. And Bose, if you ever watch this, I'll give you a couple of examples of what weaponizing would have been if Sutton actually was, okay? It would be, for example, if Sutton said to Dorit, are you sure you're ready to like date again? Are you sure you're ready for that? You've been all over the place in your situation with PK. Like, I don't think you're in the right place for that. That would be weaponizing her situation against her. It's knowing that she's going through something and then trying to undermine her confidence and exploit it in order to go against her. Or like, oh, like, I feel so bad for Dorit, but honestly, she's such a hot mess right now. I don't even know if she'll be able to handle being on her own without PK or taking care of the kids. She'll never get through this. Oh, poor her. That is weaponizing what Dorit is going through against her. Saying to her, listen, you're lashing out at me and you're not actually angry at me. You're angry at your life and you're projecting. That's holding somebody accountable for the way that they're treating you. That's not weaponizing what they're going through against them. So pipe down, Bose, and maybe get a dictionary. I know I'm on one right now, but it's just how I feel. It's just how I feel. I don't know. That just really triggered me because I just thought it was crazy. And I thought Sutton's, you're not angry at me, you're angry at your life. I thought that was a slay, personally. And again, I think the problem with, and then I'll get off of Bose and we talk about something else. But again, I think the biggest reason why this is such a hot take for me when it comes to Bose is she's not really giving anything of herself. She has a great backstory. This CMO dated this great guy. He got cancer, super sad. She has a great story, but she doesn't have anything going on in real time, as in a storyline. Garcelle gets backlash, like, oh, Garcelle doesn't have the storyline. She doesn't need a storyline. She's Garcelle. She's funny. She's hilarious. She's giving it to you. She's raw. She's vulnerable. She's a vibe. Bose isn't. She's not really, giving of herself. Like, I would prefer if she would talk about herself and what she's doing. And I'm not really, and I think the whole like, stuff with I'm kind of over like her corporate job being her entire personality. That never works. Like Wendy 4 Degrees in Potomac being her personality doesn't work. Bose being the CMO and showing a clip of her daughter giving a PowerPoint presentation, like shout out to PowerPoint, a PowerPoint presentation, like And then she being like, I approve and pay for it. Like, can you not? Like, we get it. You're a badass CMO. And what's after, like, and, but who are you? Like, and do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't work. Like, when Anna Marie, I'm an anesthesiologist or whatever the heck she was, and she harped on that all season and made that her entire personality. It doesn't work. And whether or not people are coming after Sutton because Dorit's having her whole little moment, newbies going after Sutton, that also doesn't usually work. Crystal came out the gate going after Sutton. Oh, she said something dark that blew up in her face. Anna Marie going after Sutton with the esophagus that clearly blew up in her face. I'm not sure if it's gonna blow up in Bose's face as much as it did the other ones, only because of the whole Dorit Halo moment right now. But my hope is that the rest of the collective catches on that, like, this isn't it. Do you know what I mean? That's just kind of how I feel with the whole situation. I just, it rubs me the wrong way with Bose, because to be honest with you, we should be talking about what's going on in Bose's life. What is she bringing to the table for the show? What is she interested in? Instead, the only thing I know about Bose is that she's up Dorit's butt. What else do I really know about her that's current in real time other than just what's on her LinkedIn page? And that's why she's falling flat for me. You know what I mean? But that's just kind of how I feel on her. All right, let's move on to, okay, this was the other thing I wanted to say, and then I'll talk more about the episode and everything. I had to go down a rabbit hole to make sure that, like, I wasn't the only person being like, I'm team Kyle when it comes to Dorit versus Kyle. Like, I cannot be the only person who sees Dorit for who she is. And so I found this beautiful thread on Reddit that says, sorry, but the Dorit D writing is getting annoying. And so I took a bunch of the comments that I thought were really great. I'll read them and then we can, like, kiki about them, because I was like, okay, I'm not going crazy. Other people see it too. Okay. All right. So this person says, she's a very shallow, unlikable person, and all it took was her smoking on camera and getting separated for some of you to forget what she was like before. Dorit's put on this fake persona, and I don't feel like she's relatable because she refuses to be herself. I can't stand housewives who try too hard to flaunt their wealth and pretend to be better than everyone else. She makes everything about herself, and when she gets confronted after she F's up, she turns it around and becomes the victim, not to mention her microaggressions. And to me, that is spot on. That is absolutely spot on with how I feel about Dorit. She has been a non-factor for 7 seasons because she was coasting. But just because she was a non-factor doesn't mean she was nice, doesn't mean she was, oh, I'm not taking it anymore. No, it just meant that she was hiding her meanness because she just was coasting. But she was a part of all of the mess. She was right there with Lisa Rinna with the whole Kathy Aspen situation. She was right there with the Faux Fox 5. She's a founding member of the Faux Fox 5 when they came to taking down Lisa Vanderpump with Lucy Apple Goosey, the most dumbest thing Puppygate ever in the world. When all of them knew what Lisa was going through, she had lost her brother and then she lost her mother, and they all turned on her at Lisa's lowest to get her off the show because they were jealous as hell. Are we forgetting that Dorit was a part of that? I'm super confused. Like, are we forgetting this? Just because Dorit was coasting on Lisa Rinna and Erica Janes and Kyle Richards' coattails doesn't mean that she's actually a nice person. Because I've seen all these comments, Dorit was so nice. People are taking advantage of her niceness. Now she's speaking up for herself. No, Dorit wasn't nice. She wasn't kind. She was just coasting because she didn't want to talk about what was going on in her life. The gambling debts, the fraud suits, being that girl in the Bahamas who was about to whoop Dorit's butt because she and they chased her around the pool because Dorit and PK owed them money for Beverly Beach. So no, Dorit isn't nice. She's not kind. She's not finally having a voice. She was coasting because she didn't want to talk about everything that is now is coming to a head. Because now on the show, Dorit's like, my life sucks and I'm just like so scared. Everything's falling apart. It's not about the separation from BK. It's about the finances. I think they're scared as hell. Their house is going to be foreclosed on. I think they're scared as hell that the insurance companies, maybe the FBI, whoever the hell else, is going to start investigating these alleged robberies. That's why PK lost his damn mind when Garcelle brought it up. And everyone's like, Garcelle needs to move on. Why is she holding a grudge against Dorit? No, Dorit was the one holding a grudge because see episode 1 at Sutton's party, Garcelle went up to hug Dorit and Dorit snubbed her. And then in the confessional, Dorit's still pissed and all in her feelings because Garcelle talked about the home robbery invasion being an alleged insurance scam. So does Dorit have to let it go? Is Dorit holding a grudge? Is she being a bully? Or is it only Garcelle who has to take the high road? Miss me with that. Miss me with it. But I was obsessed with this thread because I was like, yes, I have found my people and my candy canes. Okay. Then here's another one. And it says, that's not the point. They're talking about a different comment. Then let's go. It goes, obviously, Kyle is hiding why she's really mad. So they're talking about Kyle versus Dorit. I suspect the rumors about Mo and Dorit started to bother her, but she can't exactly say that without putting the father of her children on blast. Maybe it's because Dorit repeatedly defends Kathy to her, but Kyle can't say that without a feud with Kathy. But anyway, it doesn't matter why she's mad originally. That's not what we're discussing. The point is that Kyle sat down to fix it, a courtesy she doesn't normally give people other than Dorit. And Dorit flew out the handle and started screaming and making a scene. It was objectively unlike who we know Dorit to be. She's performing this season with her anger towards Kyle. I don't even feel like it's real. Exactly. I'm telling you, this Reddit thread was on and popping. And I was like, yes, I found my people, my candy canes, my people. Yes. Because I was like, I want to make sure like I'm not the one. Like, am I the problem? Am I going crazy? But I was like, no, okay, I'm right. Exactly. And I was saying this from jump. Dorit is performing right now. Well, she's performing and she's not performing. She's performing this performative anger and she's had enough and she's fed up and F everybody and you're the see you next Tuesday and I'm going to give you the middle finger and smoke on camera. She's doing the absolute most because I think now more than ever she needs that Bravo check to keep her life and her life afloat. So she's doing everything she can. But on the flip side, the reason why I say she's not performing is because I don't think she ever really liked Kyle. So I think she's saying and getting all that vitriol and all that anger out onto Kyle, not because Kyle has done anything that actually warrants this level of vitriol. Because to be honest with you, Kyle is annoying. Vile Kyle, sure. But when it comes to Dorit, Kyle hasn't done anything to Dorit that matches the level of anger Dorit is pretending to have. I think what we're actually seeing is Dorit being honest about the level of disdain she has for Kyle. And those are two different things. I don't think she ever really liked Kyle. I think behind Kyle's back, she clowned the hell out of her. I don't think she respected her. I think she thought Kyle was a joke. Then I think her, Lisa Rinna, and Erica Jane got together after everything that happened, after Lisa Rinna got fired, after all the backlash. I think they all got together and was like, oh, Kyle's more manipulative than we thought, because they thought they were the ones really playing Kyle. But then Kyle still came out unscathed. Erica Jane has all the stuff going on with Tom Girardi, so she's a villain and evil. Lisa Rinna got fired. Dorit's a non-factor. And Kyle got to come back pretty much unscathed. And I think that they are pissed and resented her. And that's why now they're like, oh, she's more manipulative than we thought, because their scheme to take down Kyle via Kathy, or Kathy via Kyle, however you want to look at it, didn't work. And Kathy came out smelling like a rose. And so it didn't work. Because as we know, these women get together to take down each other. That was the entire reason why the Faux Fox 5 was born, to take down LVP. So once you take down LVP, then it's like, well, then who are we going to take down next? And I think the group was always Teddy, Kyle, Erica, Dorit, and Kyle and Lisa. But I think the actual core group was Erica, Dorit, and Lisa. They just used and played Teddy and Kyle. for mouthpieces and for cover. You see what I'm saying? So I was like, yes, I agree 1,000% with this. It's giving every single thing in the world. And again, Dorit, I don't buy it. I don't buy the separation either. I think that they have either been separated and now they're saying it and the timeline isn't real, or they're pretending to be separated because of finances, lawsuits, storyline. I think it's more money than anything else. The whole alcoholism sobriety story makes no sense. I don't buy it for not nan second. Okay. Okay. Let's go on to the next one. It says Dorit has played an enormous part in their money woes. I doubt she'll ever consider dialing back her spending in any way. I am not a poor PKing here. They both have been living way beyond their actual means for years. She is fully complicit in whatever he's been doing and fully aware. We all saw her get chased around that pool and never gets brought up on the show. I'm glad she's sticking it to Kyle, but is that even real? This is the least real of the franchises currently airing. Wait, hold the phone. It actually isn't. New York City is, but yeah, Dorit. Okay. So yeah, again, spot on 100%. And that's why I say I'm team PK when it's PK versus Dorit. And also to kind of harken back to my issue with Boz being like, oh, Sutton, you're weaponizing her situation against Dorit. I forget how this saying goes, the exact phrasing of it, but it is so good. It's like the most dangerous people are people who play victims in scenarios of their own making. Something like that. Basically, it means when somebody creates a negative situation and then they play victim in the negative situation that they created themselves. And that is what Dorit is doing. Dorit, allegedly, I'm not trying to get sued because I know they need some money, but they ain't getting my money. Allegedly, not only do I think you know about your husband's money situations, I think two things. One, I think you were in on some of the schemes and scams and frauds. Not the ones we allegedly know about. Our opinions are that they're shady, which would be like all of the robberies you've had. Like you've been robbed at least 3 or 4 times that we know of. We know of the home invasion. There was another robbery they talked about. And then when Dorit she said she was walking around doing Christmas shopping and she randomly had $10,000 in cash in her purse that magically disappeared. Girl, what? Who walks around with $10K in cash? I don't even think I have a $10 bill. Everything is plastic or digital. Put it on my card. I'll Venmo you. Who's walking around with $10K in cash? Dorit, stop lying, in my opinion. So you've had multiple, insurance scams, thefts, robberies that are very super questionable, okay? And if those are the ones that we know about, not to mention the lawsuits of certain banks in London, allegedly defrauding their rich friends. Basically, what they would do is they would get these like multi-million-dollar loans from banks, multi-million-dollar loans from like rich friends they knew. Then they would file bankruptcy to try to get out of having to legally repay the people back. But they would still have the money. They would do what they want. But they would say, no, we're bankrupt, so we don't have to pay you back. They were doing some type of scheme like that. They tried to get out of his gambling debts that way, but I think the casinos fought back. And so that's when they did the whole home invasion thing to pay back millions of dollars of the casino debts because they weren't able to clear it with the bankruptcy. All alleged, but Google it. Not making it up. Google it, but alleged, okay? If those are the things that we know about, and you've been with this man for over a decade, how many schemes and scams do we not know about? You know who your husband is, and we know who you are. PK said, and again, you always have to listen to what people say because people always tell on themselves. People said we were like Bonnie and Clyde. 2 criminals? Two criminals. Okay? You were in my opinion, you were in on the schemes and the scams, and now you want to play victim because it's all catching up to you. And that's what I think you're so stressed about. It's not about PK drinking. It's about all the schemes and the scams. I think are catching up to you. I think the bank accounts are in negative in the red. Home is allegedly being foreclosed on. You know, I just think that it's all catching up to you. And I think that's what you're so stressed about. I don't think the reason why you're saying everything is falling apart and, all of this is because PK likes to have a martini. Like, you're not fooling anybody. And have we ever even seen PK drunk on the show? No. We've seen him drink and have fun, but we've never seen PK out of pocket on the show. So I'm confused. But then that's just me asking questions. That's just me asking questions, okay? I'm confused. I'm asking questions. So you can't play victim in a scenario that you created and then be mad at people who question that scenario or be mad at people who don't placate you. So that again is why Boz, Sutton, Kyle, whoever you want to talk about, is not weaponizing anything against Dorit. All Sutton did was hold a mirror that's holding somebody accountable, being like, listen, you're not mad at me. You're mad at the situation you're in. You're mad at the situation you're in. You're mad because the schemes and the scams have caught up to you. So stop yelling at me. Okay? So I agree with that. And again, I agree with that. I don't know the exact quote, but I agree with that quote so much because people will create these piss poor situations, play victim to try to manipulate you and gaslight you. And to me, I unsubscribe to that. I'm like, you created this situation. You're not going to play victim. You're not going to manipulate me. See ya. See ya. Not going to happen. Okay. Okay. Now let's talk about this one. This one says, I've always thought PK was pretty ick, but I'm glad to see him getting on a sober journey. It is wild that Dorit almost seems to see that as a part of the problem with their relationship. If him being around you means he drinks, then yeah, there's probably some real unhealthy stuff there. Kyle's storyline is wild because by what we're seeing and hearing, Mo isn't even the a-hole in the situation. So with both Dorit and Kyle, it is a sort of a situation where I'm somehow having some sympathies for their husbands when I've always kind of thought those guys were jerks. Okay. Again, agreed. I just told you I'm Team PK. And when it comes to Mo and Kyle, this is the problem I have with Kyle. Like Queen Sutton said, where's Kyle? She's in denial. She's in denial. Okay? Kyle keeps saying, oh, everyone's projecting their stuff onto me. My relationship isn't like this, like that. My marriage isn't like that. Mo isn't like that. When Sutton came to her and said, you need to file, this is crazy what he's doing. When Camille said to her, Mo is having maybe a midlife crisis, he has his freedom and he's working on his body and, all the young girls. And Kyle still has this sort of holier than thou, super like self-righteous. No, we're different. No, sweetheart, you're not different. You're just like them, but worse because you're still in denial where these women have come to accept the situation for what it is. You think Mauricio is above hiding money from you? What? He didn't even want to pay your daughter how much she deserved at her job. Don't believe me? Go back, watch season 1 of Buying Beverly Hills. Farrah was about to quit the agency because she wasn't making the correct amount of what's the word I'm looking for? Not contingency fee, but compensation fee, rate, whatever it's called, her portion of it. She wasn't making the correct amount of compensation for what she was doing at the agency. So if Mauricio is not willing to pay your daughter, his stepdaughter that he's known since she was a child, the correct amount of money, you think he's going to do you right when he's ready to leave you? Girl, bye. Girl, bye. Miss me with that. And that's my issue with Kyle this season. The most annoying thing about Kyle is she's like Kyling. She's being Kyle, self-righteous, holier than thou, thinking she's better and different. You're not better and you're not different. You think, she's like, oh, Camille, it could be so worse because Kelsey was cheating on Camille. You don't think Mo has been cheating on you for decades, sweetheart? You said it yourself last season. Oh, for once, it's not you in the tabloids being the cheater because you're pretending out here to be with Morgan Wade, which is a joke. Free Morgan, hashtag free Morgan Wade. Poor thing. She's an indentured servant at this point. And again, alleged. But there have been conversations about Mauricio out here dipping it and doing it with trans sex workers. And trust and believe that I mean zero disrespect to trans sex workers. Zero disrespect. The shade is to Mauricio, not to them. Because over here, you know how I feel. We're all in this together. So I don't mean that derogatory towards the trans sex worker by any means. I want to make that crystal clear. So, and again, I'm not making this up. You can Google it. It's on the Googler. All you have to do is Google it. It was in like Esquire or Star Magazine a long time ago. It's why Brandy and Kyle were beefing. Remember, this was like season 2 or 3 or something like that, where Brandy said that Lisa, maybe season 4, I don't know, whatever season it was, Brandy said Lisa told her to bring the cheating tabloids on vacation with them. And Lisa's like, I never told you that. And then Kyle got really mad. This was all of that. That is the situation that they were talking about, but they weren't allowed to say it because, Kyle's a de facto producer. They weren't allowed to say what the exact issue was. The only thing Lisa Vanderpump says, oh, like this is the young, when Mauricio was with Portia and in the kitchen, and she was like, oh, so this is the young lady everyone's saying Mauricio's with, and then Kyle lost her mind. Yeah. So for you, Kyle, to be like, and then Mauricio's out here, he literally has a girlfriend. Her name's Nikita. She's like in her early 30s. He's out here doing the absolute most. He took down your photo, put up the photo of his Dancing with the Stars partner. Like, he's out here doing the absolute most. He has a bachelor pad that he bought furniture for. That's a pretty permanent statement. But you want to sit here in your confessionals like, we're different. We're special. Oh my God. We're not Sutton. I'm not Sutton. I'm not Camille. Mo would never. Girl, not Mo would never. Mo is and Mo has been. That's why none of this is like, that's why the thing is, I don't think people feel bad that you're separating. I think people feel bad that you're this delusional about it. Now, don't get me wrong. I still stand by the fact I think they'll get back together. Not because I think that their marriage is different or special, but I think because they don't have a prenup. I think he's going to start looking hella corny real quick because being that 50-year-old dude in the club isn't that cute anymore. I think once that new wears off, maybe it won't. Maybe he'll be that 60-year-old guy in the club still trying to bang the young girls. Maybe that's him. Cringe. Who knows? But I think if they get back together, it's not because they're special or different. I think it'll be because it's the most financially convenient thing to do. That's what I think it will happen. Or maybe they'll just continue to live apart forever, do what they want, never get legally married, and look over their finances that way. That could happen too. So there's that. And then I wanted to talk about Sierra Content. She said, oh, gorgeous girl. She says, can we talk about what Sutton said? You're mad about the situation you're in. It wasn't below the belt. Who was called out of their name? That was a definitive statement. Exactly. 100%. I agree with that 100%. I don't think that Sutton saying, you're not mad at me, you're mad at your life, that was spot on. And to me, that should have been the meme. That should have been the moment. That should have been what we were all talking about. I don't think there's anything cute or queen or kiki about a woman calling another woman the C word multiple times with her whole chest. It's not cute. It's not funny. I don't care how you feel about Camille Grammer. I personally really like Camille. I actually think she's cool and she's funny, and I would prefer her back on the show. I really like her. I do. Full transparency, I have met her before. I don't think she would remember me the way she didn't remember Erica's name. So I'm not trying to lie and say like we're best buddies. We're not. But I did meet her once, and she was completely super nice, super down to earth, and a really super sweet person. So, however you feel about Camille or not, what Dorit said was disgusting. And that is weaponizing, Bose. That is weaponizing your trauma against somebody. I'm going through a hard time, therefore I can rip everybody else apart and nobody can say anything to me. No, the world doesn't work that way. You have your stuff going on, I got my stuff going on. You come with me respect, I come with you respect. You come to me crazy, that's it. Bye-bye, boo-boo. Get it together. Get it together. Okay, let's talk about the next one. So then this person said, yeah, the people who deluded themselves into disagreeing with Kyle when she pointed out Dorit was acting weird and not like herself. Dorit is clearly only coming after Kyle because she wants a storyline. Kyle has already apologized and tried to fix it multiple times. The reunion text also didn't read as manipulative to me. That was just Erica and Dorit cooking up some last minute drama. Exactly. I was saying that from day one. Again, I fell down this rabbit hole on Reddit and I was like, yes, I found the voice of reason. Because reading the comment section this season, I'm like, I don't even want to watch this show anymore if this is the collective. I'm never going to ride Dorit's D. I'm never gonna be like a Dorit fan. Like, it's just not gonna happen. Like, I'm so confused how all of these people are now, Dorit's amazing, Dorit's giving. She's like, no, she's not. Like, how quickly we forget. And to be honest with you, I get vile Kyle, goodbye Kyle, but at least Kyle gave way more than what Dorit has ever given. Kyle will stir the pot. She'll want people to own it. She'll cry. She'll be all weird. She'll do the most. Of course, we're like, Kyle, we want you to talk more about yourself. We want to be more. Of course, we get it. But if you're being honest, over the course of the entire Real Housewives Beverly Hills series, Kyle has given way more than Dorit ever has. Dorit is just now tapping back in after being on the bench for the last 7 years. When she first came on the scene, she was more of who she was, with the whole panty gate with Erica, going at it with like Lisa and stuff, and all of that. She gave it more, and that was more of a kiki, more of a thing, had more of her personality in it. And then she tapped out and was basically benching it for the last 7 years. And now she's tapping back in, being hella disrespectful and very verbally violent, to be honest with you, the way she's been talking to people. F you and da-da-da-da-da. You need to F and listen and da-da-da, and you're a cunt. And like, girl, this is your queen? This is who y'all are worshiping? This is who y'all are standing? What? But let Garcelle even breathe in Dorit's direction. Oh, Garcelle's a bully. Oh, Garcelle needs to go. Oh, she's holding a grudge. Oh, she can't play the race card. What? Is that a joke? Like, I'm like that. I was like, I'm in La La Land right now. Like, what is going on? So I will stand 10 toes down on business all day, every day. Queen Garcelle, Queen Sutton, Team Kyle when it comes to Dorit, and Bozoma is she's a flop for me. Stop trying to make Bozoma happen. It's not going to happen. Stop trying to make Fetch happen. They're pushing her down our throats, and she's not it. And I think people in the entertainment industry, I think people on the cast, I think other bloggers, they're scared to say anything about her because they think she's so powerful in the entertainment industry. She's a CMO. She's a chief marketing officer. She's talking about like decks and PowerPoints. Not to take that away from her, because I want to be very clear. I'm not taking anything away from her. She's extremely accomplished, extremely intelligent, super professional in the corporate world. That doesn't mean I have to vibe with her as a housewife on Bravo, because I don't. You see what I'm saying? So there's that. All right. And I think, all right, so then, okay, let me read this thread, which was just amazing. Okay. It says, thank you. She yells at Kyle, talking about Dorit. Thank you. She yells at Kyle and smokes a cigarette, and suddenly everyone forgets she was an ignorant potted plant season after season. Then they go, right, now people are more interested in a Kyle takedown rather than Dorit being a POS. Thank you. Didn't I say this weeks ago? From episode 1, I said this is what's going to happen. The collective social media people, they are more interested in getting their pound of flesh from Kyle, a Kyle takedown, than they are in actually looking at it objectively, Dorit versus Kyle. But the women are going to be on Kyle's side because they're looking at it through subjective lens because they're the ones actually going through it. So subjectively, they're the ones in it. They're going to side with Kyle because in this situation, Kyle's right. Kyle's right in this situation. I hate to say it. I don't say that a lot. But in this situation, Kyle's right. Dorit is wrong. She's doing the absolute most because she needs that check. She's doing the absolute most because now she can tell Kyle to her face how she's always felt about her. She's never liked Kyle, let's be honest. She used Kyle. But now she doesn't have to pretend anymore. Let's be real. Okay? Okay. The other person says, agree, and I get it. She's finally bringing something so it feels new and fresh, but I don't think she can do it for long. And then the other person says, nah, I'm a true Dorit downer. As soon as I saw the cigarette, I said staged. Everything Dorito and PK do seems staged. That's why Garcelle said what she said, and PK's flippant attitude makes me think she was right. And another clue of stage, Dorit, normally so long-winded, was very precise with her Kyle attack. So practice, methinks. Exactly. And this is what I said before. I think a lot of what Dorit is saying against Kyle, I stand 10 toes down on this. My gut is coming from Lisa Rinna. 100%. And isn't it funny? I talked about this in another video. I had said the fight between Kyle and Dorit is so Lisa Rinna coded. You were manipulating me. You weren't a friend for me. You ice me out. You blah, blah, you punish. You do this. I was like, this is so Lisa Rinna coded. It's not even funny. And then remember the whole thing that came out where it was like allegedly Dorit was caught coming from Mo's condo, which I actually don't think is true because they were using the image of her smoking in the car, but that was from the scene at the show. I actually don't think that was true. But the moment that story came out or those allegations came out, all of a sudden we saw Kyle and Morgan grabbing lunch with who? Lisa Rinna and Harry Hamlin. Then the next day, all of a sudden, we have Dorit coming out with an interview. I think it was in British Vogue or British Elle or British Harper's Bazaar, something like that, where she's like, I wasn't sure if I was going to come back to the show, but Lisa Rinna was the one who convinced me. She really helped me. You think it's a coincidence? And I was saying this from jump. I was like, Lisa is in Kyle's ear, telling Kyle every single thing Dorit has ever said about Kyle behind her back. Then Lisa is in Dorit's ear, talking about Kyle like a damn dog because Lisa doesn't like Kyle either. She never liked Kyle. She hates all of the Richards sisters, let's be honest. I think she's very bitter and very mad because she didn't take down Kyle and Kathy the way she thought she was with Aspen, and it blew up in her face and she ended up getting fired for it. She's pretending to be Kyle's friend, but she's really stabbing her in her back. And I think, remember when Lisa went on her little tirade being like, well, Kathy said that Dorit was useless or whatever she said, useless or pointless or something like that. I don't think Kathy said that because, to be honest with you, I don't think Kathy cares enough about Dorit to even mention her name. I don't think Kathy Hilton could be bothered to talk about Dorit. I think that Lisa Rinna was saying what she thought about Dorit. I think, and I actually agree with Lisa Rinna on this, I think Lisa Rinna thought that Dorit, like I said, was pretty much useless and was just skating and coding along. And Lisa thought she was doing all the work and Dorit just kind of, got cover. And I agree. And that's why now everyone's like, oh my God, Dorit. When they forget, Dorit was right there with all of them. Dorit was a part of the whole, in my opinion, I think Dorit knew about the attack on Garcelle's son the whole bot situation. Dorit was right there with Diana Jenkins and Lisa Rinna and Erica Jane when Garcelle's son was being attacked online. Dorit was right there with them, laughing and geeking when Erica was cussing out Garcelle's son. And this is the difference between Dorit, Kyle, and Erica and the Garcelle situation. We have seen Kyle and Erica actually take accountability and have contrition about what happened. From a genuine standpoint, they have said publicly and privately, we're sorry, what we did was wrong. And when Garcelle came to the group and was like, I'm still feeling some type of way. I don't feel safe having my children in this group, given what happened. Erica and Kyle were quiet. They were thoughtful, and they gave space for Garcelle to talk about how she was feeling. Ding Dong Dorit over here. This, Boz, if you're watching, is actually an example of weaponizing somebody's pain against them. Okay, Boz. Dorit then says to Garcelle, who is saying, I'm scared, I don't feel safe with my children in this group because my child was literally bullied, okay, because of this group and perhaps by some people actually in this group, either directly or indirectly, correct? Dorit then says, I'm hurt that you would even dare say that you're hurt. What do you mean you wouldn't feel comfortable having your children around me? How dare you? I'm now hurt because of that. That is gaslighting. That is weaponizing somebody's vulnerability against themselves. Saying to somebody, you're not mad at me, you're mad at your life, and I'm not going to allow you to talk to me any type of way is not weaponizing a damn thing. It's holding people accountable. It's having boundaries and self-respect. Boz, Ding Dong Dorit. Okay? Ugh. Had to get that off my chest. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Okay, I think those were all of the screenshots I had. So let's go back and talk a little bit more about the women and the episode. Then I'll open it up so people want to come up and talk, and then I'll take some candy cane questions and comments. Okay, so Garcelle, this episode and in general, chef's kiss, sweetheart, chef's kiss. There is a little bit of a melancholy to Garcelle this season, a little bit of a sadness. And I'm okay with that because she's being honest about why. And it's funny, not funny, but it's telling because this was the note I had given Garcelle before, where I was like, we know Garcelle the mom, we know Garcelle boss babe, but we don't really know Garcelle the woman that much. And not this episode, but the episode before, that's what she was saying in her heart to Kyle. She talks about it to Sutton this episode. In her heart to heart with Kyle, she's like, I have the career that I've always wanted, and my boys are about to be out of the house, and it's just going to be me, and I don't know what that means or looks like. Like, I don't know me. I don't know Garcelle the woman. I don't know my own identity. And I think that's a little bit of her sadness. And I think that's okay because it's a form of grief when you have changes in your life, when you're not sure of who you are, so there can be a bit of sadness to it. And I applaud Garcelle for being honest about it and not trying to be like, nope, everything's cool, everything's great, I'm this boss babe, I'm dipping it and doing it, I got my movies, I'm producing, and she does, and all those things are great. But then she humanizes herself and says, yeah, those are great things to tick off a list, but at the end of the day, I'm still struggling to figure out who I am. To me, that is vulnerable. To me, that's better than any storyline because she's actually being real and not faking it and trying to put it on for people like everything is like all Gucci baby when she is struggling with something. And I think that, to me, I'm so confused why so many people are overlooking that with Garcelle. Instead, they want to be like, oh no, she needs to stop playing the race card with Dorit and holding a grudge. Like, shut up, guys. Not you, obviously, not my candy canes. I mean, those people. Like, what? This woman is being so honest because, to be honest with you, I think more people than not feel that way. They think once I get the ring, I'll be fulfilled. Once I get the house, once I get the career, once I get the bank account, once I get the car, once I get the body, once I tick all of these things off this success list, that is when I will be fulfilled as a person. But the gag is that's not true. Those things are great to have and nice to have, and you deserve them. But at the end of the day, if you're not good with you, if you don't know you, if your center is not yourself, those things will not ultimately fulfill you. And I think if more people would honor Garcelle for being honest about that, to me, that's a bigger storyline to talk about. To me, that is a great storyline because that's real and that's honest and that's human and that's not, fronting. Like Ding Dong Dorit has been fronting. Everything's great. Look at me. I'm head to toe Fendi. Everything's cool. Look at me. I'm head to toe Louis Vuitton. Look at me. This is my Chanel bag. But yet you're out here losing your mind because you and your kids about to be out on the curb because you're getting foreclosed on. PK is living it up over at the Beverly Hills Hilton, and you and the kids. What's happening with you and the kids? Okay. Because I would be like, please, there is no way on God's green earth, the home, I don't think Dorit and the kids will ever be like homeless in the way that we true tangible homelessness. I hope not. But there is no way on God's green earth would a man that I laid down and popped out some kids for would be living in the Beverly Hills Hotel while the home me and his children live in is being foreclosed on, and I'm out here looking like a freaking clown. You can pay the hotel bill, but you can't pay the mortgage? What? But then y'all want to go after Garcelle. Okay. Make it make sense. I would 1,000 times be more interested in talking to a woman who is like, I've had all of the things. I married the dream guy. We got divorced. I had a career that waxed and waned, and now I'm thriving, post 40 or post 30, post, whatever arbitrary number they put on women. In this time of my life, I'm thriving in my career. But this is the area where I struggle. That to me is something I think should be more on the Real Housewives rather than talking about the fake Chanel you're wearing, boo-boo. Anyway, there's that. Let me see if I had any other notes on Garcelle before I keep it popping. Oh yeah, okay. So Garcelle brings up the fact that Kyle and PK are still texting each other. This is where I understand where Garcelle is coming from because she's coming from the perspective of this separation is actually real. And she's like, if my husband is leaving me and the kids in our foreclosed home and is going off to the Beverly Hills, dipping it and doing it, he's not even talking to me like that, but he's still all in my best friend's face, kikiing with her. Hell yeah, I'd have a problem with that. I'm with Garcelle 1,000%. There would be a problem, right? What is telling is this. Dorit, unless Dorit doesn't know yet, and maybe we'll see it come out in future episodes, maybe, who knows? Dorit doesn't seem to care. Wouldn't you think a woman who is actually separating from her husband and is in an active feud with her best frenemy, and that her estranged husband is still in this best friend's face, and the best frenemy who she's feuding with is still in her husband's face, wouldn't that be a good reason to go off on someone? Not talking about in 2019, you made a joke about a restaurant that I picked out the linen from that nobody went to. At BravoCon, you snubbed me over Kathy Hilton. Like, you're talking about nonsense things that you're just making up to have a reason to be mad. But when you actually have a valid reason to be mad, that doesn't even cross your mind. It took Garcelle to say something. It didn't even cross your mind. You know why that is? Because your separation with PK is a bunch of bull. It's a bunch of phony baloney. That's why she doesn't care if PK is texting Kyle, because it's not real, in my opinion. Either they've been separated and now they're saying they're separated. They're pushing back the timeline or pushing up the timeline for storyline, Or they're not really separated and they're doing this, yes, for storyline, and then also maybe to get ahead of anything legally coming down on them. Very Erica Jane, Tom Girardi. But the only real reason why Dorit would have this level of vitriol for Kyle, not this BravoCon crap, not this Pica de Bio crap, not this you ice me out crap because you don't care. None of that's all a bunch of nonsense. You actually have a valid reason to come after Kyle because I would be pissed. Even if me and my current best friend are beefing, the history, the loyalty, the common decency, you should not be in my estranged husband's face by any means. And you should not allow him to be in your face. I will handle him, but you should not be doing that. No way in hell. If one of my best friends, even if I wasn't speaking to her and I knew her and her husband was going through a separation, ain't no way I'm gonna be kikiing with him and DMing and texting. Hell no. So the one valid reason that Dorit actually has the beef with Kyle, she doesn't even think of. What does that tell you? It's all fake. Not real. A bunch of BS. A bunch of BS. Okay? A bunch of BS. Garcelle had more of an emotional reaction than Dorit did. Dorit didn't even clock it. She didn't even care because it's not real. PK pretty much said it himself. Because again, listen to people when they talk because they always tell on themselves. When in episode 3, was it? Episode 2 or 3, whichever one it was. 2, 3, or 4, whatever. Go back and watch. When PK sits down with Mauricio and he says something along the lines of either, you and Kyle's separation is the blueprint, or I look to it as inspiration. Something about blueprint, inspiration, looking to hit him and Kyle separation. And Mo was like, what? Because, Mo's always, out to lunch. But I was like, why would you say it like that? It kind of made me think they saw how much of a deal and relevancy and press and coverage and talk about the separation is, between Kyle and Mo, that they were like, okay, well, we get separated. That will give us a built-in storyline. That will give us built-in relevancy. Let's take a cue from there because they need the money. They need her to be on Bravo. And Dorit, stop lying. You didn't decide to go back to Bravo. You had to because you guys need the money. And you were on the chopping block. Word on the street was like, they were like, Dorit's boring as hell. Who can we go? You're lucky they got rid of Crystal. Because if it wasn't Crystal and Anna Marie, it would have been you. That's what I mean. She has skated by. Coasted, has been a non-factor. Tofu, just there. Not giving, not getting, just there. She's just been coasting. And she's been lucky that there has been the Crystals, that there has been the Anna Maries, that there has been the Diana Jenkins, who gets fired before her. And so they just give her cover. She just floats. She has all the cover. Okay? Now, Dorit, we done talked about Ding Dong Dorit enough. Hi to her. All right, let's talk about... Okay, let's talk about Erica. I don't think we talked about Erica yet. Okay, Erica Jane. The only thing I really need to say about Erica is let's talk about the therapy session. Number one, I'm tired of the therapy sessions on the shows, bookatherapist.com. I'm tired of the therapy sessions because, I don't know, to me it just seems so bizarre to broadcast a therapy session on reality TV unless it is truly raw and authentic in a way that could truly help people by watching it. If it is only in service of a narrative that you are trying to convince us of, it's garbage. Because I think therapy is great. I think everyone should go. I think if you are going through something or not going through something, I still think you should go. talk things out, get it out, work it out, get a great baseline, do check-ins, do what you got to do. I think it's a beautiful profession. I think it really helps people. So to sort of bastardize it and to weaponize it, so that's the word of the night, to weaponize it in this way is a bunch of BS. Because although I think what her therapist was saying was valid and true and spot on, like, you didn't get the pizza party, like the girls weren't, rallying around you because of everything going on, because you were being really mean and evil, and your husband was being accused of stealing millions of dollars from victims, from breaking his oath, stealing his client's money. Okay? So, no, you didn't get a pizza party, Erica, because you were cussing people out, saying you didn't give a damn about the victims, said the only person you cared about was yourself. You spoke your truth, and then you wanted us to celebrate you? You fought tooth and nail in our judicial system, wasting everybody's time, money, and resources, re-victimizing the victims because you wanted to hold on to some earrings? So, no, you're not getting a pizza party, and I'm not believing your redemption arc. Your entire session with this, book a therapist was only to convince us of your redemption arc. I'm taking accountability for my actions. I played a part in being this, blah, 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 blah. Like, enough, Erica. I'm tired of your redemption arc story. Let it go. Let it go. You keep talking about you being triggered by the stuff and how nobody was there for you. Why? You're the only person still talking about it, sweetheart. Shut up about it. Who has brought up Tom Girardi? Not Nan person. We're moved on. The feds want to give him 14 years. The dude is in his 80s. You do the math, okay? Nobody's talking about it but you, Erica. And again, Garcelle doesn't have a storyline. Okay, what's Erica's storyline? Because it can't be Tom Girardi forever. It can't be I'm the victim of him forever. It can't be that. Pat the Puss ain't it either. So we want to trash Garcelle? What's Erica's storyline that's not tired out? Every time I went through it myself, and the girls were. Shut up, Erica. Shut up. Because this is the thing. Don't blame the legal system. Oh, I couldn't talk about it. This is the thing. If you couldn't talk about it, you still could have shown some shred of a soul. This is what I would have done if I was Erica and I was in her situation. If I was Mrs. Tom Girardi and my husband was being accused of, stealing millions of dollars from orphans and burn victims and airplane victims and all this stuff. And a part of me and my legal team was worried that I would be implicated and I didn't want to go down for it. I would say this. I would say, what my husband is being accused of is absolutely disgusting. My heart is with the victims. I am with the victims, and I will do everything in my power to make things right. I would say I had no idea, even if I had an idea, even if I knew what he was doing, because I'm not built for jail, okay? I'm not built for jail, all right? I'm barely built for winter, okay? I can't go to jail. So I'm not going to incriminate myself. No, I didn't know what he was doing. I had no idea. He was Aaron Brockovich's lawyer. I thought he was legit. However, in light of the allegations, my heart is with them. I am fully cooperating to the full extent of my knowledge, to the full extent of what I can do. In fact, here is this. Here is a car. Here is a fur. Here is the painting. Here is some joy. I'm going to give what I can to make them whole. I am utterly shocked and I am utterly gutted by these accusations. I can't believe it. Let's see how this plays out in the judicial system, but my heart is with them. Duh. Then you would have got your little freaking pizza party, Erica. But no, you want to get drunk, pop some Xanax or Lexapro, whatever the hell you were on. These are her words. She said them on this. She said it herself on the episode. She said she was drinking on Lexapro. She said out of her mouth. I don't gotta say alleged because that's what she said. No, you want to pop your Lexapro, do your tequila shots, get out of pocket and cuss everybody out because they're like, excuse me, miss. Do you not understand that the clothes you were wearing was bought with blood money, but you want to sit here and cuss us out? Girl, bye. No, not never. So if Garcelle needs a storyline, so does Erica. Okay? Leave Garcelle alone. There can be more than one black person on a primarily white cast, and the world will still turn. Garcelle can hold a boundary against Dorit without holding a grudge. Those are two different things. Okay? Garcelle can be vulnerable about what's going on in her life without having a messy, fraudulent divorce or fraud or some other crap storyline going on and still be a moment and still be that girl because she is. Leave Garcelle alone. Bloop. Okay. Let's talk about Sutton. I've said a lot about Sutton, especially when it comes to her versus Dorit. Love her. Love her. Again, I want to make a bumper sticker or a t-shirt or a meme. You know, you're not angry at me, you're angry at your life. To me, that was the best line of the night. Not this, you're a see you next Tuesday. I didn't call you that. I called you a stupid. Like, no, that's not it. That's not it. Dorit isn't it. Dorit being activated is not a vibe to me. Dorit smoking on camera is not a vibe to me. Dorit swearing, giving a middle finger, calling people the C word is not a vibe to me. She's not a vibe. I don't think she's giving anything. I think she's projecting. I think she's acting. I think she's broke. I do think she's scared, but I think she's scared because of money and maybe being investigated. But I don't see why that's Sutton's problem. I don't even see why that's Kyle's problem. Again, she's playing victim in a situation that she created for herself. You knew who your husband was, you know what he did, and you did it with him. And you know how you did it with him? Because you said it in the after show. You said that, oh, PK would get in his feelings and he would feel less than or emasculated when I would try and take over the business deals, blah, blah, blah. Then same thing with Erica Jane. Didn't Erica Jane say she worked at Girardi and Keese, right with Tom, but they don't know anything going on? Okay. 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 Yeah. Boz. Next. Okay. Kathy. Love Kathy. She's a moment. She's a queen. She does the damn thing. Love her. Love, love, love. Jennifer Tilly. Love Jennifer Tilly. She's a vibe to me. She's the perfect amount of eccentric quirk, like so filthy, being like, I have two houses, but I live in the smaller house and I just host in the bigger house. Is everything like, what? Can you adopt me? Like, I want this life. I want to just be like, this is my house, and then this is the house I entertain in right next to it, and it's really great, and blah, blah, blah. Like, her and her partner just seem like really quirky and kind of like cool, nerdy, artsy, multi-bazillionaires, just, you know, living life. Like, it's a vibe. Like, it's fun. She's eccentric. She's cool. But she's soft and she's sweet. And I like that her and Sutton are so close, but Jennifer is not up Sutton's butt. Like, they're same thing with Garcelle. And I think that's why Garcelle, Sutton, and Jennifer are such a vibe together, especially on the after show and on the show itself. They're such a vibe because they're good friends and they have fun, but none of them are placating each other. None of them are blowing smoke up their butt. None of them are their mouthpieces. They will shade each other. They will hold each other accountable, but they do it in a way that's loving and light because they're friends and they actually like each other. And that's why it's a vibe, and that's why it's fun, and that's more of what you want to watch. You want to watch these rich, quirky, fun women who can throw some shade, but the shade's thrown in love. No one's spiraling and calling people see you next Tuesday, but they're having fun and nobody's being each other's mouthpiece or up each other's butt. But they defend each other when need be. And I'm here for it because to me, that's real friendship. That's real sisterhood. You know, like the people who are like my friends, you know, like I mean like my like friends and like my like life, you know. If I'm not in a room and somebody's talking about me, number one, that wouldn't happen because nobody would feel that comfortable talking bad about me to someone who they know is my actual friend. People only feel comfortable bad mouthing you to people if they think that person isn't really down for you, because that gives them the comfortability, that gives them the permission. Very similar to what happened with Aspengate, with Kathy and Erica, and not Kathy, against Kathy, with Kyle and Erica and Lisa Rinna and Dorit. That's why I said it was a setup, and that's why I said they were all in on taking Kathy down. Not necessarily a like, let's sit down and do a PowerPoint setup how we take Kathy down. But what I mean by that is if Kyle was not so clearly hating on her own sister and so clearly open to disrespecting her own sister, then nobody around her would have felt that level of comfort to clown and to come for her sister like that. That's what I mean. You know, people know who they can talk to about around certain people. There's that. So, yeah. So that's pretty much it. That's kind of what I felt about the ladies so far. That's kind of what I feel about the social commentary that's going on. I think it's still going to be a really good season. I'm still here for it. I'm happy I found that Reddit thread because I was like, at one point I was like, I don't even know if I can do this. What are these people talking about? Dorit? Like what? But I was like, no, Candy, calm down. You have your candy canes and find a community. And I was like, okay, I'm not the problem. So yeah, that's kind of what I feel about it. So I want to know what you guys think about this. What do you think about the new season? What do you think about the new girl Boz? What do you think about these fights? Dorit versus Kyle, Dorit versus Sutton. What do you think about Erica Jane? What do you think about the backlash against Garcelle? What do you think about this season? Are the friends of giving Kathy and Jennifer? Let a girl know. And I'm going to drop the link in case anybody wants to come up. And as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. It is a free and easy way to support me and the show. And I would really appreciate it. Okay. Now, let's see. Let's take some Candy Canes questions and comments.